Hey guys, and welcome to my little home studio tour of 2024. A lot of you have been asking about what gear I use, so today I'm gonna show you all the stuff that I use for my projects and videos. Since there's not a ton of stuff around here, I thought I'd quickly run through my recording and mix template inside the DAW as well. So without further ado, let's start with the guitars. So here we have my bass, which is a Squier P bass. I actually used to have a jazz bass, but I always find that I wanted that P bass sound. So I sold the jazz bass and got this one. And this is actually the PJ model, which means that it has this pickup, which is basically the same as in the jazz bass. So it's kind of like a hybrid model. And this is kind of bright pickup. So if I find that I'm not cutting through enough with this P bass pickup, I can easily blend it in for some brighter tone. So it's kind of versatile bass. Then we have my main guitar, my Gibson Les Paul Standard. Not much to be said. It's a great guitar, very versatile. It can do some clean blues and all the way to some heavier stuff. So it gets a lot of use. Then we have this Strat, which is a Performer Stratocaster. It's got this humbucker in the bridge, but it also has a push-pull pot, so I can kind of switch between a single coil and a humbucker depending on the sound I'm after. And yeah, so I think also every studio needs to have a Strat. It's a really unique sound that you can't really get anywhere else, in my opinion. Then we have my Squier Telecaster, which is basically my first guitar ever. So it's quite old already, but still works. Not in tune, but it sounds great. A Telecaster also has a really unique sound, so I think it's a great studio workhorse as well. And then we have a guitar that I know none of you have seen yet. It's this Schecter PT Apocalypse, and it's part of a secret project that I can't talk about yet, but you'll hear about it soon enough. It's in drop C, so you need to have another guitar for that. And then the last electric guitar, this Jackson DX2 from the 90s. So I like to reach for this when I'm doing some kind of 80s stuff where I need this Floyd Rose and some faster playing. It's got a super low action, so it's much easier to play fast. And then it also sounds kind of like the guitars from the 80s, which I like. And then lastly, my acoustic guitar. It's a Yamaha A1M. Also quite versatile, studio workhorse. It's the only acoustic I have and it gets the job done, so that's good enough for me. So then we have my tube amp over here, which is a Engel Screamer 50 combo, which I honestly haven't used in years because of this space. I can't play loud amps in here. And the studio monitors, I'm using the Yamaha HS7, which I've been using for probably over 10 years now. I like them. They're not super hi-fi sounding, so whenever I get stuff sounding good on these, they usually translate pretty well on other systems. And then we have my microphone here, my Shure SM7B, which I use for some streaming and then some Zoom calls, and works well also as a vocal microphone, obviously. And then we have my trusty headphones, which is the Beyerdynamic DT880, also quite old but still works great. And then we have another microphone which I use for my acoustic guitar, a small diaphragm condenser. This is the Beyerdynamic MC930. What else? Then my interface, Focusrite Claret 2 Pre. And then we have 2 hard drives, which I use for all my projects and some backups. Remember to back up, yeah. And then my MIDI keyboard, a M-Audio Keyrig 49. And then my computer, which is a Mac Studio, really powerful, works great. And then lastly, my Fractal FM3 amp modeler, which I got about 1 year ago, basically for live use, but I've been using it in the studio pretty much ever since I got it, and it's basically replaced all my plugins. I really like the sounds of that and all the choices that you have with different amps and stuff, so pretty much all sounds that I would ever need can be created with that one unit, and then to get the same sounds for eventually live use. Alright, so that's basically all my outboard stuff that I have around here. So now let's just have a quick look at my mix and recording template inside Pro Tools, so you see what I'm using over there. Alright, so here we are in my recording and mix template. And a template is essentially a pre-made session where you have all your virtual instruments, plugins, effects, everything ready to go and already set up, so you can just start creating right away instead of doing the same boring tasks over and over again every time you open a new session. So for drums, I use Superior Drummer by Toontrack. Super versatile, sounds great, and I like the workflow. And I also have a few expansion packs for different drum sounds. And then next we have bass, ready to go if I want to record my real bass, or if I find that I need to program it, if it's some difficult part, or if I just want this super modern bass sound, which kind of sounds like a machine, but works every now and then. So I have Easy Bass by Toontrack ready to go, but usually I record my Squire PJ bass. And then we have a few empty tracks for the synths, but still already routed to all the effects, and then to a subgroup which I can easily mute or do some global processing. For synths I usually use either Analog Lab by Arturia for all the vintage stuff. You know, you have all these DX7 and Junos and Jupiters, Oberheim, Prophet, you know, the good stuff. And then for some, if I need to some more modern stuff, I like to use Anitu by Sonic Academy. It's pretty complicated. I don't really know how to use it, but I rely quite much on presets and then tweak from there. And then for some orchestral stuff, I like to use Spitfire stuff. You know, I have the small originals libraries, and then I have the BBC Symphony for all the strings. And then I have the Complete by Native Instruments. Then I have my guitar tracks ready to go, clean, distorted, and then I can easily duplicate if I need more tracks. And then I have the sends ready to go if I need some slap, and then I just send it to slap or room, plate, hall. And then go to a guitar bus. And then the lead guitar. For the lead guitar, actually I like to use this plugin by Neural DSP. This is the Archetype Nolly. Got a few different amps here. Usually this is my go-to. This is kind of like a Marshall-ish. And then if I need more gain, I like to use this one, which is like a 5150 or 6550, I believe. Pretty much those two get used on all my lead stuff. And then I have a few doubles ready to go. Usually for choruses I like to do some octaves on the left and right to create a bigger stereo image. And then I have my effects. It's a Dimension D, kind of like a chorusing type stuff. Also this doubler, Micro Shift by Sound Toys, pretty much same purpose, a little bit different sound. Then my snare plate, micro digital reverb. I'm not gonna try. Then a non-lin, you know, the gated reverb, or I like to use this Valhalla Vintage verb from that. Then a room, plate, hall, and then the delays. I have a slap, and then a throw delay, which is like for certain parts. I like to throw in the delay for certain parts. Then a ping pong delay, and then the lawn delay that usually changes from project to project. And all this delay are from Echo Boy by Sound Toys. And then all these tracks go to this sub or my mix bus, where I have my bus compressor. I usually go between these two, either the Shadow Hills by Plugin Alliance, which I recently started to experiment with, and I'm having good results with that. before that, I like to use this SSL style bus comp, also from Plugin Alliance. This is the Townhouse bus compressor. And then a Pultec style EQ for some high shelf EQ. And then I have my mastering plugin, the Ozone 9 by Isotope, for some final EQ and limiting to get the volume loud. And then all of these tracks go to this last bus over here, where I have my Sound ID reference plugin by Sonarworks. And this basically corrects my frequency response or my listening environment here in my home studio, which is caused by my room, you know, physics. This purple line here is a measurement of my room. So as you can see, there's a huge dip around 80 Hertz over here, and then a drastic boost in about 110 or 120 Hertz. So it would be quite impossible to mix the low end with a frequency response like that. So what this plugin does, or software, it kind of corrects by doing the opposite, as you can see at the green line. So here's my dip and boost. So what this software does is boost at the same frequency as the dip, and then you can see here it dips where my room is boosting. So the purple line is my room, here is what the software does, and this is like the target to get a flat frequency response so you can hear everything clearly. So this has been a huge lifesaver and actually makes it possible to mix in here, which would otherwise be impossible. But this doesn't replace a perfectly treated room or a professional studio like that. I'm not saying that, but it helps a lot for some project studios like this. If you're interested in checking it out, I have an affiliate link down below. This is not a sponsored video by Sonarworks, but I do get a small commission through the link that helps the channel. And I do like to recommend things that makes my life easier. So that's basically my template or the starting point. And if I mix anyone else's stuff, I usually just delete my empty tracks here, but leave the routing as it is and leave the effects in and all the other stuff in, so that I kind of have the same system and same workflow as I do when I create my own stuff. I'm a huge believer in having a consistent workflow and system how you do things. Obviously there's a place for experimenting as well, but generally speaking. And as for video gear, I'm shooting on a Sony CVE-10 with the Sigma 60mm lens, and then I have a key light, which is a Godox SL60W, and then a soft box to soften the light. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little tour. If you have any questions, please write them down below. And thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Hej då!